What's going on, traders? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about my trading profits for the month of August. And no, we are not talking about sim-funded profits. We're only going to be discussing the payouts that have actually hit my bank account because let's be real, in the prop world, that's really all that matters, right? Now, if you guys watched my most recent video, we put it out a few weeks ago. This one is kind of going to be an extension of that most recent video. In that video, I discussed how I finally broke through that 10K plus ceiling. You know, in my career, I had multiple 10K months in trading profits, but I just could not break through making more than 10K in a month. Fast forward to last month, we finally did it, and we had a $12,000 month. So we broke it by a small margin. But now, fast forward again, like 3 more weeks, I have since withdrawn $44,000 in payouts in less than 2 months. So we've had like a real exponential increase in the amount of payouts that have come through. And to be honest, I think it is from 2 things. I think it's number 1, negative risk reward. So changing my win rate and R multiple to a more scalping approach, looking for base hits. And number 2, I just think it was psychological. I think, you know, we create these barriers in our minds. Like making more than 10K in a month was a big deal for me psychologically. And then when I finally broke through it, even by that small margin, it just picked up exponentially. And now I have a new ceiling, you know, and I'm sure that next ceiling is going to be hard to psychologically break through. But it's just so interesting how that goes with trading. It's all just numbers, right? These payouts can really be multiplied simply by the amount of accounts you're trading, the size or how aggressive you're trading them. And all of that kind of comes together. So I want to talk about that. We're going to go over my stats on these Tradeify accounts and the Topstep account. So I've been trading with 2 firms, Tradeify and Topstep, and I took multiple payouts from both of them in this last month. So I'm going to show you guys my stats. So that'll be like my win rate, my average R multiple. I'll go over the P&L calendar and also discuss like how many trades I'm taking in a day with a base hit scalping approach. I think all of that's really relevant. And yeah, I just want to make like a genuine video because I don't sugarcoat to you guys where I'm at in my journey. For like, you know, compared to a lot of you, I'm probably not that far off. I've been trading for 5 years now. And the first 3 years of my trading career, I made no money at all. Then in my 4th year, which was last year, I withdrew like 54K in payouts. And then, you know, that was a big deal for me. Now, fast forward to this year, I've surpassed that already, and it's only the end of August. So it's really validating to see the continuous growth, you know. So I just want to talk about that and be genuine because these numbers can seem like pretty crazy to people when they're first getting into it, but if you stick with it, it just becomes more and more realistic. So that's really it. If you guys notice, we kind of got a different background right now. I just moved, so that's also the reason why I haven't made a video for a few weeks. I was so busy moving into the new apartment, and I'm gonna have my own office, but I still got some work to do setting it up. And yeah, it's just been crazy. I had like family weddings, we went on a little vacation, so it's just been really hard to also trade, stream, and focus on YouTube. But now that I'm finally home, I'm super excited to also get back onto YouTube, and I plan to make a video hopefully once a week, but minimum every other week. We're gonna get back into the grind. So make sure, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop a comment. It's really motivating for me to keep making these videos, but yeah, let's get into it, guys. All right, so first thing we got to do is show proof of the payouts, right? There's really no point in watching my videos and trying to learn the way that I trade without me showing any reasonable proof that my model and the way I trade works, right? So I will pull up these payouts. First off, we have Tradeify. So these are all of the payouts I've taken since July. So you can see it right here. First payout on these Tradeify accounts was July 16th. They were $3,000 payouts. And then once I made it to my 4th cycle, I was able to take out 3.5K instead. So I believe this is about like 32,000 just from Tradeify alone in payouts. And this is on 2 accounts. So This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 payout cycles on the two 150K Tradeify accounts. I like to use the bigger accounts. I talk about that a lot. I just like to have that bigger drawdown. I know you have a higher profit target, but I just think it's worth it. With the 150K straight to funded accounts, you get $6,000 of drawdown. Compared to like some of the more popular accounts like the 50Ks, for example, where you get 2,000. I understand that the profit target is easier, quote unquote easier, because it's only a 3K profit target. But I don't know. I've tried to use the 50K accounts. I just have a lot more success trading the larger account sizes and just having a little more wiggle room on like building a buffer and all of that. So here is the payouts from Tradeify, and I also was trading Topstep accounts this month. So I'll pull up the screenshot to my Topstep accounts and bam, right here. So with the Topstep accounts, I had 2 payout cycles and they were on 350K XFAs. So you can see they're all the same. First payout cycle was right here on August 11th for 1730. It averages out to around like $6,000, I believe, something like that. And then the second payout cycle, a little bit less, it was 1600 times 3. So it was about 10 grand from Topstep as well, putting me at around like $42,000 in payouts. And again, this is all in like 6 weeks. So those are the payouts that I've taken in the last 2 months where we've been able to break the ceiling of, making more than 10K. We've made way more than 10K in a couple of months. And here are my stats. So we can go over these Tradeify P&L stats. Total P&L in trading profits is about 45,000. Again, I've withdrawn 32. So just because I made 45 in my actual trading accounts, I've only withdrawn 32. Just, a disclaimer right there. But that's the total P&L, and this is where things really started to change for me. Now, I was profitable with a different type of model. I used to use a high risk reward, low win rate approach. So my win rate last year used to be like 30%. I would have a 30% win rate, but my average R multiple was usually 3 times my risk. I was usually looking for like 1 to 3R. Fast forward now to this year, what I think has really allowed me to grow exponentially, although I was profitable last year, what has helped me grow exponentially this year is switching to a negative risk reward base hit scalping approach. So instead of trying to predict the daily expansion, right? Because that's what I used to do, is I would need to be able to capture a large swing to get more than 3 times my risk. So I would need to be able to predict the correct daily expansion. Instead, I'm a little bit more zoomed in on those lower time frames, and I'm just trying to exploit a low time frame inefficiency to take anywhere from like 5 to 15 points on the NQ. That's it. I don't care if the trade runs another 200 points without me. If I got my base hit, I'm good. I'm done. So that's number one. I switched to a negative R trading approach. So you can see right here, my average win is about $339, while my average loss is about $542. So negative risk reward, I'm risking more than I'm making on a per trade basis. But this is where you get the math to work out for you. So I have a 73% win rate. I have taken, in these 2 months, 319 trades, or I've had 319 winning trades, and I've had 118 losing trades. Profit factor, 1.69. And here's the calendar. So we can go to July. I went over my July stats, but here it is again. So this was the first month on these accounts. A couple of red days in there. Really, these are kind of like break-even days in my opinion, but then I had 2 real red days where I hit my daily loss limit. And then going into August, I had a really, really good August. So I had 1 red day all month, and all of the rest have been green days. I can talk about why I think that is. But first off, I want to talk about how many trades I've been taking each day. So again, this is both of my accounts. So if you see right here on Friday, it says I took 6 trades. That's on 2 accounts though. So I actually took 3 trades. You could just divide it by 2. I have really started to minimize the amount of trades I'm taking. If you notice, I really brought it down from back in July. I was taking a lot more trades on average. You'd see right here 18 trades. Again, it's between two accounts, so that's really like 9 trades for the day. I mean, on the 15th, I took 20 trades for the entire day. And then it worked, and I was still kind of going with that base hits mentality, but I was taking a lot more, a higher frequency of execution still. Fast forward to August, I've really minimized the amount of executions I'm taking. So I think the day I took the most trades on was right here. So on Monday on the 11th, I took 16 trades. Again, that's 8 trades by 2 accounts. That's the most I've taken. And you can see the majority of my trading days, I'm taking anywhere from 2 to 4 trades max. And I think that is why I had significantly more green days in August, and why my overall P&L has gone a lot more smoothly for this month. Instead of like getting in and out over and over again in the market, I'm actually upping my size a little bit, but making sure that the trade counts. So I'm being a lot more selective in the trade that I finally take, but I'm still only looking for 5 to 15 points. So if I wait for that A+ setup, where I think the market can move 25, 30 points in my favor, and I'm only trying to capture 10, that's what you call targeting the low-hanging fruit. I get in, I get out, and then the most important thing is that I stop. I have to shut it down. So if I take 2 wins, I am done for the day. If I take 2 losses, I am done for the day. Again, these aren't like hard set rules that I follow to a T, but it's a general guide. I do not want to overtrade. And when you're waiting and sniping your spot for that A+ setup and targeting the low-hanging fruit, that's how you can have multiple green days in a row. Just in and out, shut it down. Now, a lot of people, they want to keep trading, and I understand that. So I understand that compulsion. What I would say is switch over to some other accounts. Like, have some accounts that you can risk sync in between. So for me, these Tradeify accounts, it was all about that base hit, one or two trades and I'm done. And then if I see another really good setup, if I have the urge, I'll do one of 2 things. I'll either move over to my XFAs, which is what I did, or I'll trade an eval, trade an evaluation account. Just like scratch the itch, get it out of your system, but don't compromise your funded accounts on subpar trades. That's really the key. And I feel like that's a little cheat code. Just trade an eval. Just, get it out of your system. But that's really been the approach here. Just low-hanging fruit. I try and identify a trade that will probably go anywhere from like 25 to even 50 points. But if I'm only looking for 5 to 15 points out of that whole move, I just have such good odds that the trade's going to work out for me. That's really been the key. Obviously, with negative risk reward, I'm using a wide stop loss too, so I'm giving my trade a lot of breathing room to, I could chop around and draw down for a little bit, but again, if I can just get that upswing and get my 5 to 10, 5 to 15 points, I'm out. So I give myself a lot of room to not have the perfect entry, but still make money on the trade because I'm just targeting the low-hanging fruit. But that's been the key here. And again, here's the proof. This is straight from my Tradeify journal. So in this next part of the video, now that we went over the stats and showed the payout proof, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what my next phase of plans are, because I've gotten some more accounts. I'm trying to scale up the size so that, an average 7K payout could become a 15K payout. And I'm going to talk to you guys about like what my plans are to make that happen. All right, so now that we went over the stats, the data, and I showed the payout proof, I just want to talk a little bit about what my next phase of plans are. So the goal is more accounts. That's really the only way to exponentially increase the amount of payouts you're going to get. In this last 2 months, I've withdrawn about $42,000 in payouts, and that was from 5 accounts, right? From 2 Tradeify accounts, which is where I took the bulk of my payouts from for the last 2 months, over 32,000. And then the Topstep accounts, I was trading 3 of them. So I had 3 XFAs and I withdrew about 10 grand in 2 payout cycles. Now the goal is to increase that number, is simply trade more accounts. It's really not rocket science. If I was able to make 32,000 from Tradeify on 2 accounts, then I can make 60,000 on Tradeify if I double my account sizes, right? So that's what I'm going to be doing. I've set myself up with 5 150K straight to funded accounts with Tradeify. So that's the Lightning account. They're really my favorite firm in the industry, especially for straight to funded. You know, what I like about them is that they offer the highest drawdown in the industry. You know, if you compare like Topstep to Tradeify, both great firms, but with Topstep, you get $4,500 of trailing drawdown, right? End of day trailing drawdown. If you look at Tradeify, you can trade the 150K straight to funded account, so no eval, and you're getting $6,000 of drawdown. So you're getting an extra $1,500 of drawdown to work with, which again, as a guy who likes the bigger account sizes, I like having that extra room. It gives me room to, number one, be wrong a couple of times. And number two, psychologically, you know, most of the time, I'm not going to go and hit that 6K drawdown, you know, when I'm going to get a payout. But just knowing it's there, it just makes it easier to trade for me, makes me feel a little more comfortable putting on the necessary risk. Now, there's nothing wrong with the smaller account sizes, especially if you're someone that's like going with the Apex route, where with Apex, you're trading 20 accounts, you know, and a lot of people trade the 20, 50Ks. I get it. That's great. And I see people kill it with that model. This is just what works for me. You know, in my journey on my YouTube channel, I'm going to talk about what works for me. I've traded the 50K accounts and I've traded the 150K accounts, and I do better, significantly better with the larger account sizes. It's just how it is for me. I like having that bigger drawdown, but that's really the goal. So going into September, I'm going to have 5 150K straight to funded accounts with Tradeify, and I'll have a couple of accounts with Topstep, you know, the XFAs that I've been trading. But that's really it, guys. I don't want to make this video too long. Now, please stay tuned on my channel. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because I am going to be putting out weekly videos where we get back into technical analysis. We're going to talk about volume profile, ICT, you know, how I morph these two concepts together to give you my trading model. I'm going to be doing that every other week or every week, hopefully. And in the meantime, if you guys are looking for a firm to trade with, I highly recommend Tradeify. They have the best straight to funded accounts in the industry from my eyes. So you can use my code if you want to support the channel and support what I'm doing here on YouTube with this free content. You know, if you're going to get a straight to funded account and you're going with Tradeify, you can get 30% off using code ZARB. That's ZARB. Links will be in the description of the video. But that's it for this one, guys. I will catch you in the next video, and happy trading. Stay tuned. Peace and love.